In this section, we shall be reviewing what is going on in the Middle East, the statute of the negotiation, the deal between the United States of America, the Islamic Republic of Iran, and Israel, of course. But I will start by saying this. Probably, it has come to a time when the Gulf nations, especially the rich ones among them, the Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and Qatar, maybe is a time they will begin to reconsider, probably begin to think about how to exit the NPT treaty, the Non-Proliferation Treaty on nuclear weapon, and begin to think about how to enrich uraniums and then start building nuclear weapons. Because the dynamics of events that I'm seeing with respect to this negotiation and what has happened just previously in the United States of America when the Congress voted, when the House of Representatives rather, voted to limit the power, to limit Donald Trump from going further with the war in the Middle East, where unfortunately 4 Republicans and all the Democrats voted, against that, demanding that is either Donald Trump ends the war or comes back to the Congress to seek an approval. And you and I knows that that approval may not come. That is a country where there is accountability. But we shall be touchlighting all of this at the end of this section. Therefore, let's first of all look at what has happened in the United States of America. A dual citizen of both the United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran, Mr. Jamshid Gomi, was on Wednesday, being the 3rd day of June 2026, arrested right inside his $35 million mansion at Newport, all the way in California. He was arrested under a joint, security investigative probe, which involves the FBI and the United States of American Homeland Security. He was accused of conspiracy that violates, United States of American sanctions in supplying sophisticated American networking equipment, security and encryption equipment to the Islamic Republic of Iran's, military, as well as their, nuclear energy programs. Better still, to the Atomic Energy Association or the Atomic Energy Organization of Iran, which is responsible for their nuclear programs. According to the information that was made available by the United States of American Justice Department, this man between the year 2011 down to the year 2023 used his personal eBay account as well as PayPal to perpetrate all of this illicit, illegal supply of sophisticated American computer networking equipment, transferring dual used, technology that originated from the United States of America down to the Islamic Republic of Iran. And he was doing this, in a more falsified, in a more coded way, such that report has it that he has transported within these years over 250 metric tons of all of this equipment down to the Islamic Republic of Iran using other intermediaries that assist the track with deceptions. The destination information that is being shown on the freight is always a misleading information. But unfortunately for him today, the United States of American FBI and Homeland Security were able to dash into his $35 million mansion in California, and he was picked up. As we speak, he has been charged to court. He has made his first appearance at the court, and the next hearing includes conspiracy to violate International Emergency Economic Powers Act. And that has the propensity of landing him to up to about 20 years imprisonment. So all of these things happened because the United States of American security agencies have been probing into, export controls and sanctions on Islamic Republic of Iran, trying to gather more information and, ravel any mystery, any illegal activities that, ranges between unlicensed transfer of dual use technology from the United States of America down to the Islamic Republic of Iran that has the possibility or the capacity of aiding their military as well as their nuclear programs. So hence, this Jamshid Gomi was one of the victims or one of the persons illegally carrying out these very activities since 2011 up till this very time, and he's currently going to face the full weight of the law. United States of America is a very complex society that gives people opportunity to thrive, whether you like it or not. This has triggered a lot of reactions from American citizens and even non-citizens, that there should be limitations on people who are dual citizens, the limitations of what they can have access to in the United States of America. But unfortunately, United States of America is a country that operates on full democracy. There may not be restrictions for anybody that has a dual citizenship, but these are some of the problems and issues that the United States of America continues to face, even while this war is going on. You find out that, there are a whole lot of internal issues that is also suppressing the United States of America, from achieving some of their targets, because just like the Igbos in their wisdom will always say, no. Now the rat when he dey for inside house, now go tell the rat when he dey inside bush, say fish dey for inside house. So United States of America will continue to face some of these challenges. It's never going to stop because America is richly an immigrant nation. So that is one part of the story. Having established that, more so, why the negotiation between the United States of America and Islamic Republic of Iran continues to look very shaky, and we cannot tell in clarity the direction of that very negotiation at this material time, even though, like I've always opined here, that both parties continues to show commitment towards having a deal. But like I pointed out in one of the immediate publication I made, the Islamic Republic of Iran seems to have a new playbook that will guarantee their independence, a new playbook that will give them the leverage of going further with enriching their uranium up to any grade they want, and consequently, making a nuclear weapon and nuclear warheads at the end of the day. I listened to one of the experts today who was trying to say that this war between the US and the Islamic Republic of Iran is tilting towards, in like manner to what happened between the United States of America, the war between USA and Vietnam. I do not know whether we'll get into that very level, but the pointers, there are so many factors that I'm currently looking at, which is suggesting that Iran might probably end up having a nuclear weapon. Yes, especially considering the pressure which I've already outlined in many of my publications coming for the United States of America, the political pressure, as well as other social issues coming from the United States of America that is currently pressuring Mr. Donald J. Trump to exit the war as soon as possible. And Iran will continue to leverage on that pressure to endure more economic hardship with respect to the US naval blockade, in order that Donald Trump will run out of patience, will run out of time due to all of these pressures and possibly back out, then giving them the opportunity to go on with whatever they want to do in the Gulf. Now, Donald Trump in a press briefing has explained to the world at large, why the United States of American forces, the Army Rangers, the LI team, and every of their special team didn't forge ahead with getting into Isfahan, Fordo, and the other nuclear facilities where the Islamic Republic of Iran have their enriched uranium stored, or the uranium dust, according to Donald J. Trump. According to him, he said it was a very risky operation, and he explained a little bit into details why that was considered very risky.
At this point, do you need a deal with Iran to go get it? Or have you thought about just a covert, daring, send in the SEALs, send in the Rangers?
Yeah, but I didn't want to be Jimmy Carter, I didn't feel like being Jimmy Carter.
So that's off.
We did. Well, we thought about it right at the very beginning, before we did what we did, before we destroyed their entire military. We thought about it, and I didn't want to be in a position where you had, to get there. It's not like Venezuela. Like you go in, you're there for a matter of minutes, and you're out, and everybody's waving goodbye as you take off, and you brought the cargo back. This is different. You'd have to be there for 2 weeks. You'd need massive equipment. You'd have to airlift the equipment, and you're in a war zone. And there was a time at the very beginning when we thought about doing that, because they would have not been watching, but they would have found out. I mean, during a period of a week to 2 weeks, you would have had a major construction operation, because that plane, and more importantly, those people that operate those planes, including the mechanics, they flew for 37 hours round trip. Think of that. And the tankers that refilled them 4 times, and what an operation it was. Amazing. And but we would have been, Peter, we would have been there for a period of from a week to 2 weeks. We would have gotten it. But I said, I don't like the idea of that. All of a sudden they, pinpoint, they still had missiles left. That means they would pinpoint you and just keep lobbing them in until one gets through, and people would have gotten killed. So I didn't like it. We could get it right now. I don't think they could stop us if we wanted, but there's no reason to. It's entombed. You use a good word. It's entombed.
When I listened to Donald J. Trump, I knew I was right from the beginning of time. For those of you who have followed me religiously on this very channel, when Donald Trump started deploying special forces down to the Middle East, I made my submission that if the U.S. forces were to get into Isfahan, Fordo, and Natanz to go and recover the enriched uranium, I highlighted how risky that very operation was going to be, that eventually lives will be lost. Lives will be lost, because from the origin of time, one can tell, if you are very familiar with some of this technology or the science or the chemistry behind them, you will know that storage of enriched uranium is not a GP tank where you store water. No, these are in most cases stored in underground, and not just in an underground, highly militarized environment. And the type of cylinders, vessels that is being used for storing this enriched uranium is not a GP tank. These are made from either highly reinforced stainless steel or some special stainless steel. In some cases, you may find stainless steel type 304L and then 316L and all of that. And these are very powerful special stainless steel that can withstand and resist chemical attack, that will give the required durability and the required strength to protect this enriched uranium, either in solid form or in gaseous form. And in many occasions, what we call neutron captures, some materials that attract and captures or trap neutron, in chemistry I think we'll call them neutron trap, are also being incorporated in these vessels. The typical examples are elements like boron and cadmium, hafnium. These are electron captures, electron traps, neutron traps. We'll call them neutron traps. So these very elements have the propensity of trapping neutrons, and for the fact that, so when you incorporate them into some of these storage vessels where you have this highly enriched uranium, because if you have followed me from the beginning of time, you would have learned one or two things, how dangerous this enriched uranium is or could be. Now, just as a refresher, enriched uranium consists principally of uranium 235, which is that isotope of uranium that has rich fissile component, that has the capacity, the propensity to undergo fission. And that is what is required in making a nuclear weapon. So when this enriched uranium is stored in any vessel, in any cylinder, on their own, they release neutrons. So, and when these neutrons are being released on their own, if one neutron is released, for example, and that neutron goes back to strike another neutron within the chain or within that very uranium 235, the moment that happens, there are chances, probability is very high that a chain reaction will be triggered, And the moment a chain reaction is triggered, you know what happens? It releases an unbearable high amount of energy that can cause explosion, that can cause a lot of things. So this neutron trap or neutron capture element like boron and cadmium and hafnium are being also incorporated into some of these storage vessels, in order that when these neutrons are being released by this highly enriched uranium, these neutron captures will help to absorb those neutrons and still maintain, reduce the criticality of that very enriched uranium, such that there won't be issues with chain reaction being triggered unnecessarily. So, and considering the type of material that the United States of American forces would have been coming to pick in Iran, you consider the physical and the radiological problems or challenges, radiological challenges from taking this enriched uranium. And it is not just in one location, and it is not something that is sitting somewhere like a bag of pure water that you come just and carry it. Just like Donald Trump made it clear that it's not like Venezuela, where you need just 2 minutes or 3 minutes to get in and pick somebody and then go. No. It involves special tools, equipment, caterpillars, bulldozers, excavators, payload, forklift. So many things will be involved. And it's not going to be a dangerous operation like where you break and enter. No, it has to be precise. If that, and it's going to involve scientists and all of that among the military, among the special forces, because you have to dig and dig and dig and dig and then get the cylinder or the vessel intact. Then finding a way, with respect to technological requirement, to empty the constituent, the content of that cylinder, which is the enriched uranium. I am pretty sure that of Islamic Republic of Iran is not stored in the gaseous form. Yes, because I already explained how some of these processes work. When you have uranium hexafluoride and later you finally now have it in form of a chalk, in form of a powder that is compressed, ready to go the next level, where you now begin to have the fission process that gives you the nuclear warheads and all of that. So this is not a child's play. I said it from the beginning of time. I said this is a very dangerous operation. If the United States of American forces will engage in this mission, that is I don't know, I wish I can give it a name from my local dialect, but if you permit me, I will tag it as Chizoba mission or Onwudenjo mission, because there will be casualties. Just like Donald Trump said, it's going to involve operation that will last minimum of 2 weeks. You have to be on ground with all of this specialized military equipment, excavators, bulldozer, caterpillars, and you are not just going to be on ground. You are going to be on ground with with air defense system. Both the American Patriot system will likely be deployed there. The THAAD will be deployed. And how you are going to deploy the destroyers, because I don't know, the destroyers only is possible to be deployed on the sea. So the destroyers will not be there. The fighter jets, there will be barrage of fighter jets on air and all of that, but they may not provide all of the defense that is required, because definitely the Islamic Republic of Iran will be launching barrage of missiles and drones. Yes, that is for certain, because the moment they envisage that their enriched uranium is going to be airlifted out of Islamic Republic of Iran, they will be left with just one option. You will take it out of our territory, but there will be casualties. Or it's either you did not succeed, will destroy all of your forces, or you will destroy all of us and take the enriched uranium. So that is the bottom line. So when you look at the trajectory of events currently, United States of America is under a very big pressure. Donald Trump is under a very big pressure. A country where there is accountability. Unfortunately, 4 Republicans betrayed Donald Trump and voted in favor with the Democrats. That Donald Trump should end the war and limit his powers. That if he needs to continue with the war, that he has to come back again to get approval from the Congress, which you and I knows that it may not happen. You know what I mean? So Although Donald Trump is seeking a whole lot of exit route towards the ceasefires and all of that. And he continues to say that he will not allow Islamic Republic of Iran to have a nuclear weapon. That has been his resolve from the beginning of time. And if you think I'm joking about that, listen to Donald J. Trump.
Let Iran have a nuclear weapon, and everybody agrees to that, no matter, almost everybody. But wait a minute. Our gasoline prices are lower than they were with Biden without that. And he would have let them have, in fact, he inspired them to have, frankly, a nuclear weapon, him and Obama. Obama picked the wrong country, you know that. And the Obama deal, I terminated that, or they would have had a nuclear weapon. That was a road to a nuclear weapon. Our deal, if we make that deal, and it's going well, but who knows, if we make that deal, it's the opposite. They will never have a nuclear weapon.
It sounds like you're in it for as long as it takes.
I'm not going to let them have a nuclear weapon, no. With Obama, it was a road, you know that, it was a road to a nuclear weapon. That was a short-term agreement, and at the end of which they would have a nuclear weapon. So they would have had it 4 years ago. Then we attacked with this beautiful plane right here, the B-2 bomber.
Finally, I will be ending this very section by saying what I said, what I echoed from the beginning. Gulf nations, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and United Arab Emirates. Maybe it is time for them to begin to look at. Donald Trump has already made it very clear, and even Marco Rubio, that you are ally with the United States of America does not mean that you will also not fight to be a stronger nation. That allies only support allies, not that allies will come and carry your problem on their head. Yes. So these people are very rich nations. If Iran spent $10 billion or $20 billion in enriching their uranium, I'm pretty sure that Saudi Arabia should have $100 billion to do that. I'm pretty sure that United Arab Emirates should have $150 billion to do that. I'm pretty sure that Qatar should also have equivalents of $50 or $100 billion to do that, provided they are ready to battle with the rest of the nations on exiting the non-proliferation treaty. But it becomes necessary because at the end of the day, Iran is still a threat to many of these Gulf nations. We have seen that from the beginning of this very war. And Iran is not planning to back down. So the best bet will be match up with their strength. Build your own drones, your own Shahid drones. If na American own type of drone you go build your own local Lucas drone, American type. Fill it with your so many underground facilities in your country. Build ballistic missiles. If Iran is spending $100 billion to build theirs, budget $500 billion because you guys are more richer than Iran, and get yourself prepared for tomorrow, because from what we have seen so far, the future is heavily pregnant in the Gulf. We have seen that. And it's not just the Gulf alone. I've always been saying that. The multipliers effect of all of these rascalities, all of these shenanigans, you feel it also in religiously, polarized nations like Nigeria, where we are currently facing a whole lot of insurgency issues. You begin to ask yourself, who are the people sponsoring all of these people? How do they get their money? How do they get their weapons? I don't want to go back into that, but you must know that in 2013, an Iranian-based IRGC-linked man was sentenced to 5 years imprisonment for smuggling arms into Nigeria. Think about other events that happened before that time. In 2011, a container ship load of arms were also intercepted. These were under the leadership of the former president of the Federation, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. I've always said, if it happens today in Nigeria, you will not hear about it. If it happens under Buhari, you will not hear about it. Yet, some of you think that what is happening in Iran has no effect down here in Africa. It has no effect here in Nigeria. That the fight that Donald Trump is fighting, that he's fighting a foolish fight. Many of you no get sense. Yes, we no understand the multipliers effect. But I don't know. I only pray for God to give me and those who believe in what I believe in the grace to live a life of longevity, to finish our own destiny in peace and happiness. And we can only pray and hope that our children and our children's children beget a more beautiful future, not in a world where there will be nuclear weapons here and there.